Hey, you. Subscribe. You're watching Radio Free Cybertron. For the latest Transformer news, reviews, and more, visit tformers.com.
This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 352, recorded February 26th, 2014. In the future, I am here on the moon, your host, Brian Kilby, in my biodome of death. And I have subjugated the other hosts of Radio Free Cybertron who are on the show this week. They are living down in the depths of the earth. We have Diecast, we have Don, and I want to figure out how to put a D in Melvar, but I can't, so I'll just say, hey Melvar, how's it going?
Well, pretty good. Brian, if you're in a biodome, by default, you have to have a polished shore.
No.
And none of us here are polished shore.
Yeah, I heard this week, I've always heard people say that Biodome was an aborted Bill and Ted 3 script, and I found out this week that that's not true. It's true. On the show this week, we have finally comic news with XV and Rob, because they are recording it right now as we do this. We didn't have it last week. We were supposed to. I think I had to do some fancy editing, but I don't think I got every reference to it. It's what happens when you do the show on a shoestring, and like we do, but we have fun doing it. But we also have an interview with Eric and Dave from Sharkticon, the week in news, and the week in history. Before we start, though, a couple things. If you haven't already, check out last week's show. We have all the Toy Fair coverage. Diecast was at Toy Fair. He did an awesome job, and he was able to get interviews with Hasbro and Activision, as well as the Hasbro presentation, which I've listened to like 4 times at this point. Which, really, it's even though the news is already out there, it adds context. You can tell that the guys really love what they do. They love bringing Transformers to the fans, and they really seem to be fans themselves, and that's pretty great. If you haven't already, as well, please, please, please leave reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcast portal of choice. It's a quick and easy way to help us out. We do the show for you, our fans, and we, to reach a broader audience. Reviews are the quickest and easiest way to help make that happen. And on a more somber note, again, if you didn't know, and I sort of been laughing and joking here, but in all seriousness, if you didn't know, our host and friend JD Church passed away a couple of weeks ago. I still find myself, JD and I were talking, I was going to say have been talking, but we talked for the longest time about doing a morning show. And I was actually thinking about it this morning. I'm like, God, JD and I need to put that morning show together. And I keep, I get deflated just, when it hits me. I don't see him every day. I would talk to him every day. But, we all miss him terribly. And his wife, Amanda, I spoke with her. She says she's making it day by day. But, it's really tough for her. She's finally gone back to work. Once you go through a traumatic event like that, eventually you have to pick up the pieces and, try to put your life back together. But JD, as great as he did leave behind some medical bills and some funeral expenses. He did not have life insurance, unfortunately. If you want to help out, go to tfradio.net/JD. That will take you to our Giving Forward page that we've set up for JD. We've had so many people give. Thank you so much if you have given. We've had lots of generous gifts. I'm trying to respond to them as they come through. I think I haven't done that today. But, we haven't had a day go by so far that someone hasn't given. Some people have given as little as $5. That, if you can, $5, $1, 50 cents, whatever you can give. If you can give. If it's in your means and you feel like, you'd like to do that, Amanda, would appreciate it. It'll help out. And it's a way to help, memorialize JD. JD was a great guy. he leaves behind, his family, his friends, and his fans. In doing this, we realize, of course, we have a decent idea of how many fans that we have, but, oftentimes I'm a passive participant in the podcasts that I listen to or the shows I listen to. I'll try to send emails. I'll leave reviews for shows, but I don't interact as much with other shows as our fans do with us. But when JD passed, I was just completely blown away by all of the people that, just reached out to us, sent a kind word, told us about their favorite JD memory. And also the people have given, if you can't give, go to our Facebook page and leave a note. Amanda is looking at those, and it really helps her out to know that JD was so loved. So seriously, if you can't give, just go to the tfradio.net/JD, leave a note on our Facebook page, on Twitter. Amanda is looking, so and we would really appreciate it if you could do that. I miss JD a lot, a lot.
Yeah, we all do. We all do, Brian.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get the show started. Let's jump to This Week in History. So, in 1998, which was 16 years ago, the Beast Wars episode Bad Spark debuted in the U.S.,
which was a really stand. It was a really good episode.
It was actually aired theatrically in Japan with the Beast Wars second movie, wasn't it? That was the one that aired. They aired a Beast Wars episode and that with Beast Wars second, the movie, and that was the one. The debut of Rampage. Rampage is one of the great Transformers characters ever.
And the start of the Black Arachnia Silverbolt relationship.
Yeah, it's a great episode. Beast Wars still stands up to this day. I think we talk about it a lot, but I really love Beast Wars, and that was a long time ago. In 1987, and I remember watching this, and I remember being so happy.
I remember being there when it aired.
Me too. 1987, The Return of Optimus Prime Part 1.
Which was no surprise because on Friday was Dark Awakening.
Yeah.
And they told us it was coming next.
Yeah, And yeah, that was, I like Part 2 a little better because Part 2 features Galvatron really heavily.
And he's not completely bat crazy.
No, it's like he's totally sane in this and badass. And the I don't remember if it's just the drawing or the animation as well. Looks so good, but it's a really good-looking episode. Looks much better than a lot of the other episodes from the series in Season 3. But I love Return of Optimus Prime Part 1 and 2. I don't even really like Optimus Prime for the most part. He's not my favorite Autobot leader. He's not my favorite Transformer, but I really love the Return of Optimus Prime.
Did anybody else just hear Ender's head explode?
Yeah. I don't know. Optimus Prime. I was talking with. No, it wasn't me. I was the Todd Matthey interview. I think it was with Ron Friedman. He was talking about Optimus Prime and what Optimus Prime means. I totally get that. That's all granted. But to me, he's just very John Wayne, and I like John Wayne, but I don't want John Wayne in my Transformers. But the thing I like about Return of Optimus Prime returns from the dead. If Captain America returns from the dead, that's kind of hokey because he's a human being. If, Batman, he hasn't been. But if Batman returned from the dead, it's kind of a stretch. Optimus Prime's a big robot. To me, it's perfectly practical and reasonable that he could come back. It's a way that separates... people like that Transformers are humanized in their fiction, and that's what makes things like, More Than Meets the Eye, the comics, so great. But there's still that separation from us and them. And the idea that through some tinkering and know-how from the guys that made them, that Optimus Prime or any Autobot or Transformer could be brought back, makes perfect sense to me. And it's really logical and practical. And I think, it doesn't bother me. I'm glad that, we had our time with Rodimus as the leader. I like Rodimus. But there's just something about that episode. It just holds a special place in my heart. Now, what's not reasonable is the fact that his corpse was blown to hell in Dark Awakening. And they had to undo that. But otherwise, I love that episode.
I remember the thing that sticks out in my mind watching those two episodes is in the second episode when Optimus Prime gets up and uses the Matrix, and they start using the touch.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, they're using movie. Wait a minute, that's got cussing in it. Why? Because he says hell. And I'm thinking they actually let that on television.
So the chat's going off on me about Batman being dead. Yeah, he was killed in Final Crisis, sort of. But he was actually really thrown back in time.
But he got better.
He got better.
Much like Captain America.
I was actually thinking about
almost exactly the same time. Imagine that.
Yes, I was thinking about when Batman had his back broken by Bane, and then he was rehabilitated by Lady Shiva. But
that's a load of Shiva right there.
Yeah.
So Brian, who is your favorite Autobot leader? Then is it Rodimus?
Oh yeah, Rodimus. I love Rodimus.
I mean, Prime was the perfect leader. I can't really think of a
he was
great where he did something wrong.
He could slam dunk like a madman. He was awesome.
Well, you know, I've always thought of the Optimus Rodimus sort of paralleling Tom Baker to Peter Davison in the Doctor Who mythos, because anybody, no matter who you pick, coming in after Optimus or Tom Baker is going to have a hell of a time living up to that example, even if it's only in their own mind. And that's why I like Rodimus is, no matter, even though he was up against this huge, larger-than-life figure, he was still trying to do things his way. And I think they brought Optimus back too soon because of ratings and all that kind of stuff.
Well, too soon in the sense that there were like 3 episodes left after he came back.
Well, I mean...
1 episode in 3 parts.
Yeah.
Season 4.
Yeah, 1 season,
well,
1 episode, 3 parts.
It's supposed to be at least 5 parts, but it got cut down. But I'm just thinking, if the ratings had continued, I wouldn't mind seeing Rodimus stay around a bit longer.
In the chat, Cybertron Axe is saying that Sea Spray is their favorite figure. Sea Spray is possibly my favorite character from G1. I loves me some Sea Spray. I really do. I love Sea Spray. That toy means a lot to me. Cosmos, as far as like the toys, as a kid, that figure means the most to me. But yeah, I just never had a huge attachment to Optimus Prime. Don't get me wrong. I cried as a kid when he died. I remember bawling my eyes out. I cried. But I really like Rodimus. Rodimus was much more human.
You know, Nick in the chat mentioned this in one of our Google Plus hangouts or talks that we did over the week. They really need to do a Masterpiece Prime on a bench in grayscale, just dead. I'm
surprised they haven't, honestly. I really don't want to see that. I don't want that.
Why not?
It could come with a little heartbroken Daniel figure.
It's just,
it'd be great.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't want Autobots on display in mourning constantly. It'd be like, no. I'll pass.
I wrote a fanfic once where Perceptor was evil. And he obviously being Perceptor, he was awesome. And he had the ability to save Prime, but didn't. And I remember referencing that scene in it. That was a terrible piece of fan fiction. The 90s were not good for me. I would love to have a Masterpiece Perceptor, though. That would totally... It'd have to be a working microscope.
Working electron microscope.
That would be great.
Luckily, I got the reissue Perceptor, the commemorative series, so at least if we don't get a Perceptor, I still have that one.
Perceptor's an okay figure. He's okay. He's not bad.
I think I like the G1 version more than Generations.
Oh, God, yes, absolutely. Yeah. No doubt there.
That Generations one is just kind of a mess.
But we never got the reflector out of that.
Yeah, was that the alternate head, or was that?
Yeah.
Or I couldn't remember if that was the alternate head or if that was just speculation.
I believe when they showed it to us, that was the running the look that we all thought that at the time that would be a reflector remold.
It would have been nice. Let's see here. Transformers, jumping to the news. Transformers Asia will be offering a promotional coin with the Transformers Masterpiece MP14B Sound Blaster with Rat Bat figure. You know, I just wanted to mention this because I'm really stoked about Masterpiece Sound Blaster. It's completely irrational. It's the same darn figure, but in black with Rat Bat.
With Rat Bat. Yep.
Or buy a Rat Bat and get a free Sound Blaster.
Yeah. But it's just so pretty.
It is. I just can't justify buying it again just for the Rat Bat.
I actually thought that was going to ship with my G2 Sideswipe, because they were supposed to come out around the same time, but obviously G2 Sideswipe kind of beat Rat Bat out, or beat Sound Blaster out.
So, Mike, I guess since you have that, I'll just mention it. So, the sticker sheet that comes with it, I don't know that I've seen anyone who has it actually put on the G2 vehicle stickers. Like the G2 toy had those green stickers that said Sideswipe and everything. But the character doesn't have that from the G2 comics. So it's kind of like crossing the streams a bit. I don't really know if I want to put those on.
Well, I mean, I think that's why they did it as a sticker sheet. And if we can reference that article which we just had, and I can't think of the guy's name, it was some Asian guy from, Tomy that was talking about, what they were doing with the Masterpiece figures. They were talking about Wheeljack, and they said they wanted the car mode to look like his toy, but they wanted the robot mode to look like the cartoon. And I might have got that backwards, but so
no, that has to be correct.
They do kind of take both into consideration when they're doing these masterpieces, and I think what they do is they try and take what they think is going to be most popular.
Probably. What I can't wait for, like that Masterpiece Ironhide when we get it. They'll really focus on the robot mode to make the robot mode look like the toy. They'll really focus on the vehicle mode to make the vehicle mode look like the cartoon.
And the fans will revolt.
That would be awesome. I want a sticker face so bad. Actually, speaking of Ironhide, there's going to be a 3-piece Henkei Autobot Specialist set, which includes Mirage Hound and Ironhide.
There's your Mirage mold again.
I love that Mirage mold.
And I was wondering if they were going to put Ratchet in the other set, where were they going to put that Ironhide? Because they're going to, with that same mold on the line, they're going to do something with it.
I don't need Ironhide now, thanks to Melvar, but I love 2 of these figures.
Now, I will say I do like that color red on
it's nice
the
looking.
Ironhide figure. It's just, I wish it was on a better figure.
I don't think Ironhide is as bad as everyone says. I just don't think it's great.
Well, the darker colors, the darker colors
It's the arms. The arms are terrible.
Yeah, the darker colors may help mask all the panel lines in vehicle mode, but yeah, the arms are just wacky inflatable tube man. Just ugh.
And his car, it looks like a
Jigsaw
Escalade.
puzzle.
It looks like a jigsaw puzzle and an Escalade. It's just not, it doesn't even look like a van. Make it a van.
I could deal with the SUV if it just had decent arms and robot mode. It's so bad.
And that Hound doesn't come with Ravage.
It doesn't?
That's one thing. It doesn't look like it. It's not in the photo.
Are you sure about that?
Well,
It's
they're
not in
gang,
the photo,
they're gang
that's-
molded together. What are they going to do with the Ravage if they...
Extra plastic in the trash.
So somewhere in Japan there's a trash can full of extra Ravages.
Yeah, I'm certain that's probably part of the same mold. Hey, so I did mention, the the chat's mentioning this. I did mention crossing the stream specifically because of Harold Ramis.
R.I.P. Harold Ramis.
Ghostbusters is my favorite movie of all time.
Yes.
It in Tombstone, but I've watched Ghostbusters over 100 times since I was like 5. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Tombstone's your Thanksgiving Day movie, right?
Watch it every Thanksgiving, yes.
Yeah, it's sorry to see him, but the firehouse that they used for Ghostbusters, they put the Ghostbusters 2 sign up, and there's a little impromptu memorial outside, and someone left some Twinkies.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Ghostbusters, so I think most people who are children of the 80s, which not all of our fans are, because some people somehow were born much later, and their first Transformers were Beast Wars or Armada or Cybertron. God, I'm old. Okay, so let's see here. Jumping ahead. Next item in the news, if I can find where I'm at. Here we go. Oh God. Okay, so this popped up last week after we'd already recorded the show. The next toys being released in the Transformers Cloud line. Brawn, which is that GDO Brawn, based on first edition, right? Bulkhead.
Why?
And
This is the figure that was only going to cost us $30. Now it's going to be $100 if you want to pick it up. And people had a problem with this figure at $30. So.
And our other favorite mold, Blitzwing, is going to be Starscream.
What happened to the Duocon idea that everybody seemed to agree on, that if they're going to do that mold for anything else, make it flywheels or one or the other, or
Overlord.
And this will be the one they fix. This will be the one that they fix the mold for.
No, they won't.
No. I don't think they're going to fix it. I mean, they could at least did like Sunstorm or something. Give us a different jet, so at least we can put it on our shelves and like well, there's a little bit of a difference there. Thank God I'm not getting any of these Cloud figures.
I just like, what are you thinking? No, why are you thinking this?
This just proves they're definitely going to do that RC repaint.
I hope so. That would be so awesome.
God, you keep saying it, and it's going to happen, and then I'm going to have to hurt all of you. And I don't want to do that.
That was XV's idea. So.
Well, I can't get my hands on XV. He's too well guarded.
I want RC repainted from like I don't know, Generation Cyclonus. Just something completely.
Fall of Cybertron Grimlock.
Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. Yeah, something just completely off.
Oh, I'm gonna have to throw Rock Lords at y'all, aren't I?
But yeah,
you're gonna run out of Rock Lords. I mean,
no,
I don't
I'm
think
not.
There's that many around.
No, I'm not. I have most of them. Most of them.
Is there anything good we can say about these two figures?
Starscream does look pretty. I have no problem with the color. With the colors.
The colors are actually pretty nice looking. Too bad they're on a terrible toy.
Yeah, it makes no sense as well. It's like, I mean, Double Dealer was already a stretch, but
I have no attachment to Double Dealer, really, and yeah, I don't have attachment to Starscream either. But come on, this is just silly.
It's just it makes, up to this point, you could always say, you can see what they might have been thinking. This is so far removed from any logical train of thought. It just is dumb.
Yeah.
Is this filler for over there because Prime is done?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I thought that's what Go was the filler.
It's pretty much filler too. But this is filler without new molds.
My good friend Wing Zero in the chat suggested using Beast Machine Striker as a
That's great too.
Thanks, Wing. Appreciate it. Love you too.
Let's see here. And last up in the non-third-party news, the Transformers Universe MMO game preview is I guess it's gonna be announced. There's some pictures on or videos on Vine of a new character. It'll be pretty interesting. So this game has been in the works for a while.
I didn't even know it was still in development.
I didn't either. I went back and watched the interview that JD did with the guy from the developer back at BotCon 2012. And it seemed like it was not that far away then, but now 2 years later, hopefully eventually something's gonna happen. So,
can we play that interview in this recorded show? That would be awesome.
Yeah. So, we'll go ahead and play that during after the interview with Sharkticon. Yeah, we'll do that. So yeah, definitely let's do that. But yeah, so I think I'll probably play this. Maybe I kind of have to, but I'm not really into MMOs. But maybe this is the game that will make me like them.
It's going to be worth a try. I mean, that new character looks like a Prime Bumblebee Ratchet combination. It's very interesting if you take a look at T-Formers, the article, and the character that they have. It's very.
Oh god! So it's a triple changing energon combiner.
He's called Meltdown, but it's very Prime-esque.
Yeah, I agree.
You melt three together, pour them together. That's what you do.
Let's see here. Let's go ahead and jump to third-party news. I think we just have one item. So we've been talking about the Scoria, right? The not slag.
Yes.
Now we have. Do we have a name for this? It's HQ03 not snarl.
Not slag.
Not slag. Pardon me.
Not slag. Yeah, and this is actually by another company, and this company apparently is doing all the Dinobots too, and they're going to be masterpiece scale. So again, we get into the redundant third party, everyone throwing their figures in.
And if the scale's not there, how are you going to tell? I mean, granted, again, like I've always said, if you're collecting Transformers and you're worried about scale, the crazy bin is over there because that's where you're going to wind up. But if we got all these companies making competing designs and they're not close enough together, just from a display standpoint. So if any of these people, these companies watch us or watch for feedback, they need to give us some sizes so we know who is what size. Because if I buy Scoria to go with Grimlock, who are very close, platform shoes notwithstanding, if this guy is like 6 inches lower than Scoria, he's not going to fit. And I'll be like, well, that just looks like crap.
Now we're already assuming
that's why these guys are making all 5, so they'll match in their own scale.
Yeah.
And we're already assuming that Fans Toys is going to do the rest of the Dinobots. Also, there was a lot of complaints over Scoria being a little bit too big. So maybe if this company does them a little bit smaller, they'll fit in better with Grimlock. But they also showed off a shadow image of Grimlock, so I'm thinking that this company, what is it, Gigapower is this company? I'm thinking that they're also going to put out a Grimlock.
Yeah, why would they make their own Grimlock if these other 4 matched the one that was already out?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't see a need to do a figure that Hasbro's doing regularly. We got Grimlock in a masterpiece already, and we're getting Grimlock reissued in another masterpiece. So I'm fine with the third parties doing figures that Hasbro's probably never going to touch, but don't do a figure that Hasbro already did or is doing again.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that does it for the news this week. Let's go ahead and jump to our interview with Eric and Dave from Sharkticon. After that, we'll go ahead and play that interview that JD did back in 2012 with JAGEX. We are also going to have Q&A with Rob Springer and comic news from XV and Rob. So we will be back here in just a few minutes.
Radio Free Cybertron is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
So this is an interview with Eric Warren and Dave Cunningham, two of the primary gentlemen behind Sharkticon 2015, which is coming up in 2015. So Diecast and I were both at Sharkticon last year, and it was just so awesome. And of course, the guys announced that the next one would be in 2015. And with a heavy heart, I'm like, okay, I get that. That's cool. But I'm certain it's going to be the biggest, best Sharkticon ever. So, gentlemen, how's it going?
It's going good.
Going very well.
Good things come to those who wait.
Usually.
Indeed.
So I saw last week or the week before that you announced the Sharkticon Club.
Yes, we did. We thought it would be a very good opportunity to engage the fans and give them just a way to interact with us and to kind of determine the flow and the nature of the show, since we are making this for them.
Now, so basically, what does the club entail?
It has 3 tiers of membership. It's kind of a crowdfunding as well as just kind of a pre-registration kind of built into one. You've got 3 levels. You've got the Armada Club, they each have a different level of goodies. There's Energon goodies kind of tailored with them. It's all laid out on the website. But yes, we've got the Armada levels, you've got the Energon levels, you've got the Cybertron levels. They're all at different financial stages.
Mm-hmm. So basically, the more that you donate or pay, and base level you get access to the show with a couple extra goodies, and then as the levels go up, you get more exclusive items that are only available to people in the club. So it gives people that little extra incentive of things that can't even be purchased at the show.
So obviously, you're going to have general admission. People will be able to walk in. Are you going to have another form of pre-registration, or is this pretty much the way that you're going to pre-register fans?
Well, this is actually the way we're going to pre-register fans. This is going to take the place of pre-registration. So by joining the Charticon Club, you are registering for full access to the show.
Okay, I need to get on that stat then.
Yep.
Yeah. It starts March 1st, so be there, be square.
Mm-hmm. And we will still have options for, like spouses or, add-ons, just like we did before, just to make sure that everybody's still able to come and include it, even if you don't want all the special stuff.
So do you have any plans or anything that you can announce so far, or what are your general plans for 2015? How is 2015 going to be bigger, badder, and more awesome than 2013 was?
Well, we've got quite a few things in the making. We are going to actually announce 2 of the first guests on March 1st. We can't go into much detail beyond that, but we are building the show based on fan interaction as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also have a lot more planned interaction-wise. People requested more panels and more types of things to do other than just dealer rooms or seeing voice actors. So we're trying to incorporate a lot more of that into the show, as well as expanding the scope, making it a little bit larger, making Friday a little bit, longer, and bringing more events to the show in general.
Sure.
I'm very excited. Diecast, what are you thinking?
Oh, I'm excited too. I was thinking, just to put it out there, what's the official website that everyone should go to?
That is Sharticon.com. The K is implied, but that's www.charticon.com.
And then the other thing I was thinking, I'm actually disappointed I don't live closer to you guys, because I've been seeing on Google Plus you've been doing, you're starting to get a meetup together, and tell us about that stuff for any of your local fans.
Like me, I'm local.
Yeah, see, you're within a 45-minute drive, I think?
An hour and a half, but it's local enough.
It depends on how you drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is something that Eric actually started up to kind of band together some of the local Transformers fans before Sharkticon, and it's got the weather kind of shifted to the cold regions, and we kind of let that go into stasis lock for a bit. But we're starting it up again, trying to connect with more fans and just get more people involved, because that's really what it's about, is just the fan interaction. That's one thing. I mean, that's a story that I've heard a lot from fans, that they thought they were alone in their passions and alone in what they're doing, and we're just giving an opportunity for them to connect with other people. I don't know what Eric can speak to that, but I mean, a lot of friends through Sharkticon, and I keep in touch with them through Facebook chats and other avenues, and sometimes we just hang out. So I mean, it's an awesome way to do that. Yeah,
interesting fact is, if we had not started doing the meetups here in Charlotte, there probably would never have been a Sharkticon, because we started meeting up with people, and it started with 5 people showing up, and then 10, and then all of a sudden a bunch of people were showing up, and no one realized how many fans there were in the local area. And at some point we just realized, well, we can probably do a convention. We have enough people to do that. So that's kind of what it grew out of. So we're trying to go back to the roots with that a little bit. People like the monthly meetups. So we'll be publishing more information about that on the website.
That's awesome. So you guys, at least Eric was. I think we're at SavCon last year.
Yes, I was at SavCon one. Well, it wasn't last year.
Year before.
Year before, yeah, because they didn't have one last year.
Yeah. Any plans on attending 2014?
Yeah, we've gotten personal invites from Sean. I'm going to try and make it down there, and I think a few of our other staff members are as well, because I know they do a pretty good show, and we always like to see what they've got going on. So. It sounds like a good time. Savannah's such a great town anyway.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
we love support the local and the nearby conventions as well. It's just it's a fun time.
So to keep the momentum going, you're doing the the fan interactions. You're going to try to hit conventions, as is. But so to keep the energy up, what else are you doing? You're doing Facebook. You're doing social. You're doing contests. What kind of stuff can we expect to see on your Facebook page and your Twitter account and things like that?
Well, it's really going to be up to a bit of the fan interaction. We put some ideas out there, the helping getting the artists together to design T-shirts and other fun things for just the interaction in general. Getting the meetups together. We just kind of want to put some ideas out there, kind of brainstorm with the fans to see what they would like to do, and see if we can get that going.
Yeah, Dave is pretty much a social media master. He handled all the social media for our last show, beginning in about February. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I was handling the social media from October until February, and it was trickling. And then all of a sudden, Dave came in and exploded with all this, contests and trivia stuff going on. So you can expect a lot from what's going on with Facebook, Twitter, and all that. He's right on top of all that.
Bring back the Twitter trivia. That was awesome.
We're gonna see what we can do.
Awesome. Anything else, guys? Anything you want to get out there?
Well, we do. Some of the fans had some questions on the website. We said that we would answer some of those items as well.
Oh, awesome.
One of the main things, the question was, when is the next Sharkticon going to be? We're aiming tentatively for that same second weekend in August. So you're looking at the 7th, 8th, 9th. We're going to try as best as we can for that. Some fans gave us some feedback about, we put out the survey as well. Some fans gave us some feedback about location. So we're looking at other venues as well, seeing just kind of keeping our options open to see what could best fit the group and the setting.
The Charlotte Convention Center is awesome. You should totally do that.
Yeah, no, that's not too huge or anything.
Heroes Con manages to fill it up part of the time. So
as soon as I can get that blank check from you, Mr. Kilby, I will make that happen.
That's only 100,000 people make that show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'll do my part to help promote the show. So I don't have 100,000 listeners this week, but you know.
Well, yes, we're definitely aiming for that second weekend in August 2015. As far as the auction, we're still going to be putting that on. I know that was a fan favorite with a lot of the attendees.
And no more comic books. I'm not donating any comic books this time. I'm out. So don't worry about that.
Fair enough. And then we're working on a kind of a sponsorship component too. We're trying to get more of the get more sponsorship just of the show, the different companies in the area. To kind of help the show along and try to increase their presence, and then just support our fans with that way as well.
Yeah, a little bit more of a local component.
Cheerwine and Bojangles. If you can get the both of those, it will be the greatest convention in the history of mankind.
Excellent. We will have a lot of non-Transformer fans showing up just for the Cheerwine and Bojangles.
Yeah.
Dude, Bojangles was huge last year. It's no secret that Aaron Archer showed up at the convention because Aaron now lives locally. He's about 35 minutes from where I'm at. And, I've met Aaron before. I don't know him well, but we've had a chance, to talk with him. And he was like, oh, yeah. He actually came to see my friend Greg, who'd come in from Raleigh that day, but Greg had already left. But we happened to have a spare bottle of Cheerwine, and we handed it to him, and he just sort of drank it, and he just sort of stood there, and we ended up having like an hour-long conversation about Transformers and stuff, all because of Cheerwine.
Yeah, weren't you guys trading Cheerwine for figures?
XV did, yes.
Okay. I thought I remembered something about that.
That's a good trade.
It was pretty great. So the great thing is, I mean, the first convention that you guys put together, was awesome. I mean, I had more fun at that than I've had at least a few BotCons. Convention's not as big. Yeah, convention's not as big, but it was intimate, but it wasn't small either. Like a lot of the conventions you go to, fan conventions, are tiny. It wasn't. It was completely reasonable. I mean, I would not feel cheated at all traveling from out of state, or from halfway across the country to go to that convention. It was really, really impressive. I mean, I've said it before, but I thought you guys did a great job, and I'm super stoked about 2015.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
I know Diecast didn't feel cheated. He came from
the fan convention run by fans for fans. So.
Yeah, that was actually my first convention, believe it or not, and it's still it's still the best convention I've been to so far. Not that I haven't been to other good conventions, because OmegaCon up near us also had their first convention, and that was very good. But I did the customization class, so I really didn't get the whole convention experience like I did with Charticon.
I really want to do a MegaCon this year. Keith invited us. I just need to figure out the logistics of actually making it up there. But I would love to go. That's what time is that Diecast this year? Do you remember?
I want to say it's in August too, but I want to say it's towards the end of August.
I would definitely want to do that this year in place of it'll be my substitute Sharkticon.
I mean, I don't know how easy it is to take a train, but there's so many trains around here. If you can take a train up, I could always pick you up if Tim doesn't want to come. 2 days? Wow.
I think it's like 2 days. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Aren't they in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I thought so.
Yeah, I'm actually right outside Philadelphia.
Okay, and then RetroCon's up there as well, right?
Yeah, RetroCon. I did RetroCon too, and that was pretty big. That's not really a Transformers convention. It's kind of anything 80s.
Yeah.
But they didn't really have a lot of panels or anything like that. I mean, I guess they did. It just wasn't anything like there was no Transformer related panels at RetroCon, so so it was a nice day.
So certainly, Sharkticon wasn't the first, unofficial Transformers fan convention. BotCon started out as an unofficial Transformers fan convention. There have been several over the years, but I think Sharkticon, at least, is the. I didn't go to SlagaCon, but from everything that I've seen, Sharkticon is the first one that seems to like legitimize, may cast a bad light on other conventions, but I think it's the first one to like really nail it. So what did you guys do to like? How did it come together so well? Because you've never done this before.
That was a lot of pre-planning and a lot of, I guess you would call it, planning for what may happen. For everything that we had going on, we had a backup plan. So just in case, something was going on. And we had 10 staff members, which I don't know if other, conventions have that many people, but we have a lot of people here working on staff. So, everybody had a primary responsibility, and they also had a backup responsibility, and everybody backed each other up. So we had a lot of redundancy, which I think helped a lot. Yeah. And then just everybody's individual strengths just brought it all together. There was no way one or two people could have brought this thing, to fruition. It was definitely a group effort. So
yeah, and you have to also factor in the passion that these guys had for it as well. These were all people who had some relationship with the Transformers brand, and they had some amount of pride in it. And they wanted to bring that to the show. They either had been to another show that they enjoyed, but they thought, hey, we can do that here too and do it better, or they just found that there was a lack, and they wanted to kind of bring that's something extra to help people enjoy it. And I think it turned out rather well.
Yeah, we also got extremely lucky with a couple different items, so I won't go into detail about that, but there was a lot of good fortune involved with that show. So.
Primus was smiling on us.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a little luck every once in a while.
Yeah. Sure.
Awesome. Anything else, guys?
No, I don't think so. Just look for a lot of good information. We're excited about everything coming up. We've got a lot of good plans. We hope everybody else is excited as we are. And so
keep your optics locked on the social media. If you have questions or you have comments, just send it to sharticon@gmail.com. We'll be glad to listen and see what we can do.
And you can find them at charticon.com. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can hear our show on Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows directly from your iPhone, Android phone, BlackBerry, or Palm phones. On demand and on the go. Don't have Stitcher? Download it for free today at Stitcher.com or in the app stores. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
The following is an interview with Steve Huckle from JAGEX, which JD recorded at BotCon 2012.
I'm talking to Steve here from JAGEX. Steve, so tell us a little bit about the game for maybe those people that aren't really familiar with it.
Okay, so it's really probably the first and only Transformers MMO. We've been in development for about 18 months now, and we're hoping to release it at the end of the year.
Okay, great. And in terms of like MMOs that people might be familiar with, say from a range of maybe like a Flash MMO, web-based, all the way up to World of Warcraft, where does it fall in that range?
It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's browser-based, but we've got a whole new graphics engine, and obviously with our what we've learned on RuneScape for the last 10 years, we've got quite an intelligent back end, as it were. So we're able to deliver the game quite quickly to people, so you can just jump in on your browser, get in the game within a few minutes, and jump from PC to play it.
Great. And how big of a world are we talking?
Initially, it's going to be quite limited. It's not going to be tiny, but it's going to be. We want to be able to expand in the future. We don't want to give everybody everything at once. So it's loosely based on the Prime continuity. So if you think Prime, you've probably got a good idea of where we're going to be going.
Okay. I know one thing a lot of players like is, of course, customization, individualism. That's a big part of MMOs. What kind of features do you have built into the game that people can expect to see?
Yeah, that's probably one of our biggest points in the game, is that lots of people have always wanted to make their own Transformer. It's always been the kind of cool thing to do, but no game's ever let you do that yet. So in the game, you get to choose your vehicle, choose your character, and then you customize your character, head, colors, all those kind of things, and then play that character in the game.
Okay, great. So as you're playing along, do you pick up add-ons like armor or equipment? How much customization and add-on goes further into the game?
Yeah, obviously we're going to have a leveling or building system as you go through the game, and we're obviously going to have all the usual weapons, but we've also got some kind of unique things in there that we obviously don't want to release yet. We want to save them as a surprise, but as you progress through the game, yeah, you'll be able to build up a bigger arsenal, a better arsenal as you go on.
And what are some of the base archetypes? You know, most of the MMOs have like brawlers or shooters or tanks, those kinds of things. What do you have in your game?
At the last show we announced the Brawler, who's the big kind of bulkhead kind of character. The others were yet to announce, but we've got 5 classes in the game, so if you think kind of what most games have, you're probably on a good line.
And is that going to be the same across both factions, both Autobot and Decepticon?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we want counterparts like Transformers has always got. You know, the Decepticons and Autobots tend to have equivalents, so we're following suit mainly, but not all the way.
And I assume that you're going to be planning expansions and other things. You have a lot of plans down the road as far as where this game will head in the future after release. Obviously, I understand you're worried about release at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been 11,000 Transformers over the past 25 years, and numerous planets and locations have gone to them. We want to use as much of that as possible to expand and give players what they want, but give it in a kind of a fun, good, decent way, so it's not everything at once, because, you know, people want to grow and build. So we've got an awful lot that we can call on, but initially it's kind of, we want to keep it quite focused.
So is it going to be based on Earth initially, Cybertron, both? I mean, how many worlds are we talking as far as the game?
At the moment, initially, it's again, if you think Prime, so mainly Earth-based, but obviously, as I said, we can go anywhere, really. Anything from history and Transformers is something we can use. We're working very closely with Hasbro on that, so it's kind of a very conscious effort as to where we go and how we use the locations, and again, the characters and their classes.
Excellent. And when are you looking at launch again? When are you expecting to have it up?
We're aiming for the end of the year, so hopefully before Christmas, but you know how things can move around sometimes.
Okay, great. Brian, do you have any questions? Okay, great. Well, Steve, thank you so much for talking to us, and we'll be looking forward to seeing the game.
Awesome. We're good to see you playing it.
You boys a bit bored? Snap into it! Snap into a Slim Jim!
Hey guys, it's Rob, and this week's question comes from Dusty Griffin. Dusty goes on to ask... let me move this. Here's a question. Was Beast Hunters forced on Transformers Prime? I mean, they worked with it, but it was so pointless. There was only one Beast, in quotations, before the TV film. And the Beast Hunters toy line, look, never got integrated, back in quotations, not even in the film. The toy line never got integrated, and then, not even in the film. In this case of repaint, is this a case of repaints affecting the TV show again? Well, TV show again. Dusty, it's so strange. It's like, yeah, when it comes to the Beast Hunters look, I got the feeling it just wasn't in the budget. They repaint colored Bumblebee and Smokescreen, and Ultra Magnus was just a modded up Optimus. His prior appearance, and Optimus got a new model, and that was it. I wonder, of course they made a new model for Predaking. That's kind of strange. You really have to wonder why. Hasbro put out the initiative, and from what I understand, from interviews and stuff I heard and read prior to, they were actually a little late coming to them with this, and that's why, if you'll notice that the first few episodes of the Beast Hunter season, Predaking's barely in it. He's almost like, he's very, you watch that 3-parter movie, 3-parter episode, whatever you want to call it, the opener, and it's very clear that he's just kind of forced into it. It's like, you can tell he's he's barely even part of the plot. He just kind of shows up halfway through, flies around a little, and gets in a little situation or two, and that's about it. And a couple episodes after that, he's just kind of there. And it isn't until, a little bit into the season that he starts really kind of getting involved. And that would definitely, from what they're saying, how he's kind of the new direction. Sorry. The new direction was being kind of forced in a little late on their progress, because I believe it takes about 2 hours, that'd be easy, 2 years to produce, you know, a season of a CGI show like that. So they kind of had to go with the assets they already had. Not to mention, you know, being cut down to 13 episodes for the season is pretty. It's pretty easy to say they didn't have the budget they did to go and remodel the models to make them look, you know, like they did on the show, in the toy line, and all that. And all, as someone who liked the whole Beast Hunters thing, yeah, they really seemed to drop the ball, didn't they? I mean, that whole gimmick and all that was pretty much isolated to the toys. I mean, sure, there's the OVA series, Transformers Go, that has, you know, the Predacons and all that, but they're fighting, you know, a different cast of Autobots, which is from that, you know, Go's, you know, post Beast Hunters series. The best you get for really any kind of fiction that resembles the toy line is the pack-in fiction, and apparently there was a comic produced for the overseas market that had them in their appearance. I don't know how the release thing or whatever worked out. I just know reading of they worked on it, and all the Autobots looked like they do in the toys, and that's really it. You know, they kind of just put a Predaking. They put Predaking and a couple little Predacons in there, and and most of them, they're just like skeletons in a test tube, really. There's a couple stills of Predaking remembering Predacons, and you know, in that movie there was 2 other ones, but yeah, it's like they really just, it was like a directional change. It just kind of, I guess, happened at the wrong time. The thing is with the Beast Hunters comic, I think the Beast Hunters comic, they just didn't want to tell that story. I think that's what happened there. Like, we already wrote it, and it would be expensive for us to go back and do it again. I mean, because they kind of pretty much avoided the theme other than just Dinobots on Cybertron. So I think when it comes to the creative process, it might have been forced on them, and they found ways to get around it. But as far as the show and all that, I think budgetary reasons kind of got in the way of them implementing it well. In a recent interview with, I can never say her name, Margaret, Mrs. Scott, one of the writers of the comic and the show, as on an episode of Transmissions, she said some stuff that she wanted to do, you know, like further on, like after the ending up of the show, like in the comics or whatever. And one of the things was a little story with Soundwave, and it sounded really good. But even then, it was like, it didn't seem too Predacon focused. So I think in the creative direction, they definitely were. I busted my lip. And I keep looking at it like, eh. So if you're hearing the download version 1 or I keep pausing, that's the reason this week. Yeah, I think creatively it was, they weren't too keen on it. Or if they were keen on it, they wanted it to be a very slow progression into getting to it, and the time just didn't allow for it. And then I was a little disappointed in the whole thing, because I enjoyed the toys for what they were. And the pack-in fiction is basically only reason I get that Wheeljack has Valkyrie wings and a spear that looks like a Pizza Hut thing. There were some great little toys, and it's a shame they didn't get expounded more into fiction, be it whatever reason it actually was. And when I say whatever reason it actually was, you know, whatever reason I can think up, whatever reason the creative team will give, and whatever reason Hasbro will give, because each one has their, like, you know, when it comes to official sources, it's sort of a, well, you know, shrug and shoulder, and they give sort of a, it's just the way it worked out. Unfortunately, not everything goes. You know, they never really give you an answer because, well, they don't have to. So, yeah. But yeah, Dusty, I really do think it was a little forced on them, because you could clearly tell they wanted to tell the story they wanted to tell, and then all of a sudden, oh, we got to put these things in here? How are we going to do that? What are we going to do with that? I mean, I mean, honestly, seeing that they spent some time in Season 3, relic hunting again. Of course, they were fossil hunting, but, still hunting like they did in Season 2. They might have... It probably wouldn't hurt them to take more cue from the new initiative. They might have, come up with something a little different. I like the relic hunting plot line, or subplot, or however you want to say it. But, it was kind of what they did the season before, so... I don't know, maybe it could have worked out differently. I really don't know, I wasn't there. Or who knows, maybe they're just like, we want to get to this first, and, oh, we don't have time. You never know, and they're only allowed to say so much, so I understand. But, Dusty, I hope that answers your question with me basically going, I don't know. You guys can check out Dusty and myself at Joe Lana in like a few weeks, and here in Atlanta, if you go to joelana.org, you can see the schedule and all that. We'll be hosting a Transformers panel at the convention, and Brian and I will be set up in the dealer's room with the RFC table. So hey, if you guys are in the area, come see us. You don't have to just like G.I. Joe to like this convention. I think they're teaming up with the Great Atlanta Toy Convention, and it's going to be a more spread out focus. I know there's like Walking Dead stuff, and there's like some Monster High stuff, and just obviously Transformers stuff. So it's not just a Joe convention, because there's good chances if you're listening to RFC you also like G.I. Joe. But if not, there's also something possibly for you. So hey, please come out and support local conventions. Or if it's not local to you, support a convention in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm not a good ad man. And one more thing. This is my first Q&A since the passing of my friend JD. And it's going to be really sad doing this now without him. And it's a little awkward for me. And I know it's kind of awkward for the other guys, and our friend died, and our feelings hurt a little. So, I'm gonna say, hey JD, I love you, man, and I miss you. And I know for you guys watching, some of you have an understanding, and some of you maybe don't, and that's okay. But yeah, we're hurting inside, guys. So, and he's our friend. He's not just someone we made a video with once a week. So, if you notice, RFC's different already, and it probably will be. Always. So, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate the love and support you gave JD, and I know his wife does too. So, if you want to check out tfradio.net for shows and showtimes, and you could submit questions to me there or through any of our various social media. And or you can send it straight to me, rob@tfradio.net. And I should call this part the Check It Out Hour, because I'm just telling everyone to check out things. My blog, roborobspringer.tumblr.com. You can check that out too. Thanks everybody for watching. Later.
Warning. The following segment may contain spoilers for the most recent Transformers comic books. Okay, so, we're finally back with Robots in Disguise number 26.
Which was really good.
And Regeneration 199, we're almost done!
Yes.
After Regeneration 1 wraps up, we're going to have to sit and have a long talk about what happened there.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of things that have built up since, the middle of 2012, and, I think some of this just needs to get out.
Yeah. It may be, I think, the spiritual successor to our Transformers WTF special from a couple of years ago.
Possibly so. That might not be a bad idea for a format, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we can round up any other disaffected fans and make a night of it.
That would be good if we could.
We'll have to work on that over the next month or so.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Why don't we start with Robots in Disguise, since it's older and less on our minds.
Okay.
The main thing, we had Andrew Griffith back on main art for this issue, and boy was it great.
Yeah.
Because the way he drew Metroplex and the Necro Titan, they were giant.
Mm-hmm.
There was no mistaking that. They had the detail, they had the panel composition, everything was done right to give them mass.
Yeah.
As compared to what Attilio Rojo did last month, where they looked 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's some great Titan shots. There's the 2-page splash that opened the issue, which is what I've got on screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one I really like where Metroplex starts falling and the giant hand starts coming down on top of the tiny little robots in the foreground. I mean, that's just beautifully done right there.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, I know this was not the intent of all these guest artists, but when I started Robots in Disguise, Andrew Griffith was not my favorite artist.
Mm-hmm.
Just something about the style just seemed a little bit off to me. But, you know, with this entire range of people to compare him to, he has come off really well.
Yeah. Andrew Griffith's real strength is his total consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how many times in one issue or 20 issues he draws the same design, it's always the same design. There's not really variation from instance to instance to nitpick.
And that is really hard to do.
Yeah, he's got super consistency, and I mean, it shows he probably hasn't been off drawing for as long as we think relative to, you know, the linear chronology of the issues, because I'm sure some of this was being drawn alongside the waiting around issues.
Yeah.
From, 16 onward?
I think so,
Something
yeah.
like that. But, I mean, there's, like, no drop-off here. It's like he never stopped.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, the Metro Titan stuff is just beautiful in this issue. Of course, we also have some Ramondelli art in this issue, but that just makes Andrew Griffith look better.
Yes, it does. And it's a shame because the scene itself is good. The scene is fine. It's solid. It's just, I talked about Livio Ramondelli and what I don't like about his art for like 6 months straight last year, so I will not harp on that any further.
Fair enough. Yeah, the big takeaway is that the whole Orion Pax phase is over with now.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of bores and depresses me. Or disappoints, at least. You know, I mean, for that whole stretch, they were doing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, they were taking things in new directions, and it seems like a lot of it's going to just go back to, normal fare after this.
Yeah, with the exception of More Than Meets the Eye, but as far as I can tell, More Than Meets the Eye is always the exception.
There is no normal for More Than Meets the Eye.
Which is probably one of the book's biggest strengths, but...
Yeah, I would say so. Well, I mean, think back to how much we enjoyed Robot Politics in the first year of Robots in Disguise.
Yeah.
That was totally abnormal. We really enjoyed it for being so different and for doing it well at the same time.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it looks kind of like after Dark Cybertron, we're going to have Optimus Prime leading Autobots on Earth. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm sure it'll be really well done, but this was refreshing.
Yeah, I have to admit the concept of that just sort of bores me.
Yeah. Well, it has been done.
And done.
And done.
And done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be pleasantly surprised by this, and it'll at least be executed well enough to support its concept.
Yeah. Well, I never expected to like Robot Politics as much as I did, so...
Yeah, so, I mean, always a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was Chapter 9 of Dark Cybertron?
Yeah.
The numbers always screw me up.
Yeah, next month is the wrap-up, 10, 11, and then the conclusion issue.
Yeah, so... At the end of 9, we have the Necro Titan destroyed and Nova Prime dead.
And Megatron apparently a good guy at the moment.
Or at least having motivations that line up with everybody else's.
Yes, for once.
Yeah.
I did want to point out though that I'm not gonna also not gonna harp on the Prowl thing anymore, but Bumblebee is right. He made a choice, and basically, this is what he does with Megatron is the act of trust with the Decepticons that would have saved his government if he had done it a week ago in story time.
Which, that's terrible. That's a week ago in story time,
isn't it?
Yeah. Although I think it would have had to be more like a month ago in story time to actually save the government.
Well, yeah.
Because I think by a week ago it was already too late to stop what was happening.
Quite possibly.
Plus, Shockwave still would have been doing whatever his plan actually is. We have no idea still what that is exactly, except that it seems to involve the dead universe.
And stopping time.
I'm sure it makes sense in Shockwave's head. I'm
sure it does, and hopefully next month it will start to make sense in everybody else's, but I'm not following it yet.
Yeah,
we're a little bit late to not be following it.
We're just at that point where what we thought was the storyline has wrapped up, and now it's like, no, this is what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm. For 3 more issues.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be 2 more issues and then just basically a wrap-up and setup for what comes after.
I guess we'll find out by the middle of next month.
Yeah.
So I guess we can jump over to Regeneration One.
Yeah.
If we must.
Yeah. I will try and keep that as short as possible. What it comes down to is that we managed to squeeze in 1 more anticlimax before the end of the book. Yeah. JAGEX has captured all of the Autobots, except, of course, for Cup's Wreckers, who are wrecking.
Mm-hmm.
And with the arrival of Underbase Starscream and Shockwave Arc, they all of them managed to screw things up enough and apparently reabsorb JAGEX into the Underbase Collective and destroy the hub network. So yeah, that's all just... What was the point of that?
So they destroyed the whole hub network in 20 pages when it's taken Hasbro almost 4 years to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I wonder how much longer it would have taken if this were a My Little Pony crossover. I kind of think that's why they're hanging on.
In other news, Primus is a jerk.
Yes, or if that's Primus or whatever it is. I'm not convinced it is Primus anymore, but in my review I just referred to whatever this consciousness thing is talking to Circuit Smasher in Zero Space as the last boss, because that's pretty much all the information we have at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, we Dark Cybertron has 3 more issues to let us know what the point is.
Yes, this has 1 double-size issue to probably not let us know what any of this was ever about.
Yeah.
That's our Furman.
Yes, it is.
But before he leaves us, he has left us with an image to launch 1,000 new ships.
Which one?
Shockwave carrying Starscream off into the sunset.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure Tumblr is just alight with this.
Probably.
Well, especially with the line of dialogue. Is this emotion?
I missed that.
Yeah.
I
don't even.
Yeah, I don't either. I have no idea what to say about that, but but this issue is just it is so typical of Regeneration One, because we have what should be all these episodic occurrences with beginnings, middle, and ends just kind of petering out and leaving us all sitting here and going, what was the point?
Well, and don't forget, too, there is the single page of, hey, Galvatron's still alive.
Yes.
Which seems to serve nothing, except that Galvatron's still alive.
Yes, Galvatron's still alive. He seems to have been possessed by the Dark Matrix stuff. Guido got a really nice cover out of that.
Yeah, he did.
That looked so much better than what's in the interior. And, yeah, so, I mean, supposedly JAGEX was going to figure into this, so maybe the, recombined underbase whatever is going to be a part of this too, but we could have wasted a lot less time on the hub network thing and just had the underbase go collect G-axis like Fortress Maximus went and collected Circuit Smasher and actually done something productive with this time.
But Furman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting the impression that the underbase might be part of solving the Dark Matrix creature problem, just in the general notion of the underbase being the source of all knowledge, the Matrix in one continuity being the source of all Transformers' wisdom.
Yeah.
And maybe both being used to destroy the darkness from the Transformers. I mean, this is obviously a stand-in for the Swarm.
Yeah.
Who was defeated in the same way.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting to wonder though if these things are not the key to defeating whatever this thing is, but just the key to bringing it all together. Because whatever this thing is, it's spirited Spike away to Zero Space, which is where Rodimus was when he got this new Matrix and got all this information. So, I'm really wondering if this. If the last boss, whatever it is what sent him on these errands in the first place.
Or it's competing forces in the same realm.
Yeah, which sounds like Furman's speed, so.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, next month is certainly going to be not interesting. What's the other thing?
The end.
No, because it never ends.
Oh, that's true.
Radio Free Cybertron has teamed up with Kokomo Toys and Collectibles in Kokomo, Indiana. If you're in the Kokomo area, visit our store for a huge selection of new and classic toys. Visit online at www.kokomotoys.com for our address and store hours. While you're there, check out our listing of pre-order items, as well as visit our eBay store. Visit us at www.kokomotoys.com. That's KOKOMOTOYS.com. We're also on Facebook.
So we are back. Dunn is being joined by Massey. Hey, Massey.
Don't let the innocent face fool you.
Again, I just want to mention, people listening to the podcast or watching the video, you saw the interview that JD did with JAGEX. Miss JD terribly. Again, you can give to the JD Memorial Fund at tfradio.net/JD. If you can't give financially, leave a comment or make a note on our Facebook page. JD's wife Amanda is checking that and looking over comments. You can do that at facebook.com/tfradio. If you are not a fan or if you don't like us on Facebook, please do so. It takes just a second, and it's nice and easy way to get stuff that we don't necessarily mention during the show. We'll post news and stuff throughout the week, just because it's fun. It's a good chance to just sort of comment on things and sort of get it out of our system if it happens after the show is recorded. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/TFRadio Network, or you can go to tfradio.net/YouTube and subscribe. I'm getting ready to post some videos that I have that need to go out. They won't wind up in the regular podcast feed, but we are trying to do a little more with video because, of course, we like doing video. A lot of stuff comes to us in video. It's just don't always have the time or capability of putting it in the show, so I'm definitely going to take more effort and do that. We would appreciate that as well. Guys, anything that we want to cover, anything that I missed during the show?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head, no.
Me neither. So, let's go ahead and, I guess, wrap it up. You can follow us on Twitter at TFRadio. I am personally on Twitter at BKilby. And you can hear me complain about things like other people's BO. And the amount of time I'm spending on Skyrim. If you follow me on Twitter, it's pretty great. Diecast, you're on Twitter at Diecast2.
Yep. Follow me there, and you can hear me complain about other things. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But
you don't complain. You brag about the stuff that you get in the mail.
Yeah, I like to show things off that I get, and I like to comment when other people have interesting things to say about Transformers. So.
And you do a great job of interacting with people. I just really enjoy watching that. Don is on Twitter at HMRC4EVR.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And you control him there.
You control him. You personally control Don through Twitter.
Yes, control me. It's just, it's join the club.
And Melvar is not on the internet. He has an email address which he is not sharing with you. So there.
He loves you, but just not
deal with it.
But Melvar is on the post-show Google Plus Hangout. You can circle us on Google Plus at tfradio.net/G+. And after the live show each week, we have a Google Plus Hangout that Diecast runs. He is awesome. We have a lot.
The format has not been changed completely from last week.
No.
Hey, they haven't changed it in a while.
Google is much like Skype.
It's about time.
Every once in a while, it just doesn't want to work.
It's like YouTube. Every week is a new layout.
Yeah. Skype updated before the show. Skype and XSplit. And I was just certain nothing was going to work. But it's actually worked pretty smooth. I think they fixed a lot of the bugs in XSplit. I haven't heard one single stutter or anything this week. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's been good on our end.
I don't have to buy a new computer now. I was going to buy a new computer just because the stupid software didn't. But yeah, so there's that. And of course, we stream live each week at tfradio.net/live, tformers.com, and on our YouTube channel. And we interact with the chat room. We have a great, vibrant chat room. We love our fans. We love people who come and chat with us during the show. Again, tfradio.net/live, YouTube, tformers, and at ustream.tv/ gosh, just go to tfradio.net/live. I cannot tell you.
Everywhere you go on the internet, we will be there, whether you want us there or not.
We have a presence in most places, yeah. It's pretty great. So for the guys, I'm your host, Brian Kilby. We will be back next week. Have a good one.
Later, guys.
See you guys.
This has been Radio Free Cybertron. Visit us at tfradio.net for show notes and to subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at tfradio for news and updates. Watch our live stream at tfradio.net/live. Join our Facebook fan page at facebook.com/tfradio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, TF Radio Network. Have a question or comment? Leave it on our Facebook fan page or mail it to contact@tfradio.net. This podcast is released under a Creative Commons license. Any part of this podcast can and should be redistributed, but please, proper attribution is required if you know what's good for you.
Transformers. It's better than crack.